The rain had been falling for hours, tapping against the worn bus stop roof, like a restless reminder of everything Maya had been trying to escape. She sat hunched forward, her backpack soaked, her fingers trembling not from the cold, but from the weight of the decision she had made that morning, walking out of the small apartment she had shared with her father after another night of shouting, shattered glass, and accusations she no longer had the strength to defend herself against. It wasn't the storm outside that terrified her. It was the storm she carried within. And as the wind whipped through the empty street, she realized something painful. She had no destination, no playa, and nowhere she truly belonged. That single realization hit her harder than the thunder above, and she felt, for the first time in her life, what it meant to be completely alone. If you believe in kindness, compassion, and second chances, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps more people connect with stories that heal. Maya watched car headlights smear across the wet road, each passing vehicle a fleeting reminder of lives moving forward while hers felt suspended between fear and uncertainty. She had always been quiet, always trying not to inconvenience anyone, always trying to be strong enough to endure. But sometimes strength isn't enough. Sometimes strength becomes a cage you build around yourself until you forget how to ask for help. She hugged her knees tighter, shivering not only from the cold but from the ache of words she could no longer hold back. She didn't want anyone to see her crying. She didn't want to explain. She didn't want to go back. She just wished someone, anyone, would notice that she was breaking. Across the street stood a small, weathered cafe, its windows fogged, its sign flickering, its interior glowing with an inviting warmth that seemed almost unreal against the harshness of the night. Maya stared at it for a long time, wondering if stepping inside would make her feel weak, needy, or out of place. She worried about the price of a drink, the questions people might ask, and whether she could keep the tears from spilling the moment she felt even a hint of kindness. Eventually, she shook her head and looked away. People didn't offer kindness without a reason. She had learned that the hard way. But the universe has a strange way of placing people exactly where they need to be. Inside the cafe, an older woman named Elena had been wiping down the counter after a long, quiet shift. Business had slowed over the years, but she kept the cafe running because it had become a sanctuary for souls who needed a pause from life, but many never realized it until they entered. Through the window, Elena saw the shivering outline of a girl curled on the bus stop bench. Something in Maya's posture felt familiar to kind of defeated stillness Elena herself once carried. Decades ago, after losing her family in a car accident that changed her life forever, she had survived. But survival rarely meant healing. Without overthinking, Elena tied her apron a little tighter and stepped outside, the bell on the cafe door jingling softly behind her. The rain hit her face instantly, cold and sharp, but her determination was warmer than any storm. She walked across the street and stopped a respectful distance from Maya, who looked up, startled but too exhausted to pretend she was okay. Elena didn't ask what was wrong. She didn't pry or offer cliches. She simply said the 5 words that would change Maya's life forever. I saved you a seat. Something in Maya cracked. Not loudly, not visibly, just enough for the first sliver of hope to slip through. She hesitated, her mind torn between distrust and longing, between pride and desperation. But when Elena gently extended her hand, not pulling, not pressuring, just offering, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in a long time: human warmth. She followed Elena into the cafe. The inside was small but cozy, lit by soft amber bulbs and decorated with old photographs that looked like fragments of forgotten stories. Maya sat near the window, her wet clothes clinging to her skin, her heartbeat slowly steadying. Elena placed a steaming mug of hot chocolate in front of her and said only, "Take your time." It had been years since anyone had encouraged her to do anything for herself. Maya wrapped her hands around the warm mud, her fingers thawing, her throat tightening as she inhaled the scent of something safe. For a long while, neither of them spoke. Elena worked quietly, letting Maya exist without expectation, without judgment. Little by little, the storm in Maya's chest began to settle. A small calm began to form in the space where loneliness had lived. When the cafe grew quiet again, Maya lifted her gaze and realized Elena wasn't just offering a drink. She was offering presence, safety, and something Maya had stopped believing in: gentle humanity. Seeing Maya's trembling stop, Elena finally spoke softly about her own past. About loss, about rebuilding life piece by piece, about the unexpected strangers who had helped her when she couldn't help herself. She didn't say it to claim similarity. She said it to let Maya know healing was possible, even after everything collapses. As hours passed, the rain softened outside, but inside, something within Maya was softening even faster. She found herself opening up, not everything, not yet, but more than she had told anyone in years. She spoke of her father's anger, the loneliness of growing up unseen, her fear of becoming someone she never meant to be. Every word felt like stepping out of the dark. Elena listened not to respond, not to fix, but to understand. By the time the clock struck midnight, Maya realized she had not once been made to feel like a burden. She had not been asked to justify her feelings. She had not been told to just be strong. She had simply been welcomed, and all of it had begun with a simple invitation. For the first time in years, Maya didn't feel like she was fighting alone. Elena offered her a warm blanket from the back office, and told her she could stay until morning if she needed to. Maya felt tears prick her eyes again, but this time, the tears came from relief rather than despair. She whispered a thank you that trembled from gratitude she couldn't fully express. The next morning, sunlight spilled through the cafe windows, warming the small space with a gentle golden glow. Maya sat quietly at the table, sipping another cup of hot chocolate, watching the world outside start its new day. For the first time and as long as she could remember, she wanted to be part of that world again. Elena walked over and placed a small piece of paper beside her. It wasn't money. It wasn't a lecture. It was an invitation. A simple handwritten note that read, "You're welcome here. Anytime." Maya stared at it, feeling something shift deep inside her. It wasn't just a message. It was permission. Permission to exist, to rest, to heal, to return not just to the cafe but to life. Over the next few weeks, the cafe became her safe place. She helped clean tables, learned to make drinks, listened to stories, and slowly began to share parts of her own. Day by day, she rebuilt herself not through grand gestures or dramatic moments but through small kindnesses, warm smiles, and the gentle presence of someone who believed in her worth long before she could see it herself. Elena became the family she had never had. The cafe became the home she had never known. And that single invitation, 5 simple words, spoken on a stormy night, became the doorway to a future she had once been too afraid to imagine. Years later, when Elena grew older and began to slow down, Maya took over the cafe, keeping every photo on the wall, every warm light, every quiet corner exactly the same. Because it wasn't just a business. It was a sanctuary, a place where broken hearts could sit for a while and find warmth again. A place where lost souls could discover that they mattered. A place built on the power of a simple invitation. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your engagement helps these stories reach someone who might need them today. Before the final moment of the story, Maya wanted to leave a message when Elena once whispered that she never forgot. Special request, comment below. Kindness begins with one small act. And so, the cafe lights continue glowing, rain or shine, for anyone who needs a seat saved just for them.